Hola, hola. It's your girl, Erica from America. Welcome to the Confidence Chronicles podcast. This podcast is all about helping you stand in who you are. Stop giving a fuck what people think about you. Start standing as your fully expressed self. As you are, queen, as is, there is no filter needed. You are fucking awesome. And I am here to remind you, I'm a confidence coach, a business mentor, a speaker, an author, and I am obsessed with women standing up, showing up, and creating their confidence. And I cannot wait to dig into today's episode with you. Hello, my friend. Okay, what is good? I love that you clicked on this episode because it is difficult. Yo, this is a hard one. And I have to say, I'm about to go to the beach today. It is beautiful and hot right now out here. We have been having the wildest weather. So I am about to really go and enjoy myself. But I got this request from a gorgeous listener, Belinda. So Belinda, shout out to you. Thank you for requesting this episode. Belinda actually requested this episode, and in her question, so you can go to the website, queenofconfidence.com podcast, click there and you can submit any question that you have, any podcast that you want me to record, and I will shout you out if you would like to not remain anonymous. So Belinda sent me this question and I read it and I'm like, oh my God, in that question are like 3 other episodes. So Belinda, high five. Thank you very much because there are going to be multiple episodes from your request. And I got to say that I hate the word toxic. I think I've talked about this before on the podcast because it's really othering people, those toxic people, when really I believe all of us have toxic tendencies and it's more of a dysregulation or problem or situation, circumstance that someone finds themselves in that's creating this toxic behavior. So I don't want to like call people toxic. Maybe their behavior is toxic. So Belinda asked, how do you deal with toxic people and they're in your family and you can't get away from them? And so I think it's an important thing to chat about because multiple times you might find yourself at a birthday or a christening or a wedding or the holiday season and you got your family around and there's your cousin who is negative as hell or your uncle who's creepy and annoying or, an auntie who gets all up in your business, or it could be your grandmother or even your parent. Maybe you moved out of home. And when you get around your parents, they think it's okay to comment on your weight. Yo, as a Latina, I'm going to tell you right now, my husband's Sri Lankan, right? A lot of our families like to comment on what we're eating, the weight, how we parent our children, what we're doing for work, our money, our love life. I think this is very common in families. And so I think finding a way where you can respectfully have that relationship, if you want to have it, by the way, you get to choose if you want to have these relationships or not. I am an advocate for setting solid boundaries on family. And yes, I grew up in foster care, grew up with wolves. I was raised in the streets. So I don't have a big connected family. So I can't feel how that would be, but my husband does. And I got a lot of friends and a lot of clients who have connected families. And if I'm honest, it's the same way that we're going to address here in this podcast is the same way you could address if you have a tight-knit, big-ass family. I got my bestie who's Greek and they got a massive Greek family. And there's so much intertwined, right? So I don't think that just because you have a big family or because you were an only child or because you're from that background or this background, you can't use this. I really believe that if we all learn how to figure out what we want, what we don't want, what is okay for us, what are our values, what do we stand for, and how can we speak up on the things that we don't agree with, when we know ourselves, we get to be the captain of our own ship. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't matter if you got a big family or not. So one of the things that I want to say that's very important here, I'm not telling you to not call your family or to cut them off or do anything like that. This may be something you discover as you listen to this podcast and as you start doing this inner work with yourself. Here's what I know. Whoever you were when you were born and you were raised, you were a certain way. Maybe you were a certain child or adolescent or adult. And something may have happened in your life. You may have picked up a book. You may have started listening to this podcast. You may have joined me in the sisterhood. You may have come to a retreat that we've done. You may have experienced some hardship, a breakup, losing someone you love. Something might have happened in your life that made you go, yo, like, break, splash cold water on your face. Hold on a minute. Is what I'm doing what I want to do? Am I truly happy? Do I want to be here? Do I want to work here? Maybe it was the pandemic, right? Like, hold on a minute. What makes me happy? And how do I feel in this relationship? How do I feel when I pick up the phone and I speak to my mother, or my sister comes over, or my brother comes over and brings his kids again to my house? Maybe you have tuned in to a shift or a change in yourself. And if you have, I just want to congratulate you, because it's not easy to want to shift and want to change and notice that maybe the bullshit you used to talk about with your friends or your family is not what you want to talk about anymore. Maybe you want to spend your Sundays talking shit about Married at First Sight. Oh my God, that show just drives me crazy. Y'all stop watching that shit. Maybe you don't want to talk shit about your neighbors or gossip. Maybe you don't want drama, toxicity, alcoholism in your house. I don't know, but maybe something happened and you're like, yo, that doesn't make me happy. And you know how you know, my love? You check in with how you feel. How do you feel when you speak to this person in your family? How do you feel when they're in your home or when you're in their home? How do you feel? If you don't know, you got to get to know that. That's that intuition. That's that. Let me take a deep breath. Let me check in. How do I feel after I speak to my mother? How did that phone call make me feel? How did that comment make me feel? You got to go inside. You got to close your eyes. You got to get quiet, minus the distractions, turn your phone off. Go to the bathroom if you need to. Find a closet. Find a moment for you to really check in with how are you feeling? It's a felt sense that you will get when you're around the people that don't make you feel great. And then you get to decide. So if that's you and you're already feeling that, high five, congratulations. So here's the fucked up, trippy part, right? When you start deciding that certain people in your family don't feel good for you right now, not forever, just right now, you are maybe going to get a little bit of guilt. You're maybe going to start feeling like this is wrong. I should, because blah, blah, blah. I should. This is the should, right? I'm the only child, so I should. And then if you're doing the work, you will start to go, oh, but she didn't know better. It's not her fault. My mother did the best she could with what she had. Great. I agree. However, do not disregard the importance of your joy, your happiness, your fulfillment, you feeling good, your boundaries, what matters to you. Don't disregard you. You know what I'm saying? So what we need to do is identify who specifically, I'll talk to my clients and they'll be like, because they're going to think this and they'll say that. And I'm like, who's they? And I did a podcast about that. Who is they? Like, identify who this person is that's grinding your gears, that's getting on your nerves, that's making you feel away. Identify who it is. Is it your grandma? Is it your sister? Is it your mother? There's Mother Wound podcast coming. What? Like volume 17, right? Like, who is it specifically? I recently had a client, her father. Her father speaks to her in a way that does not feel good. Okay. It's her father. For me, it was my mother. It's been my mother my whole life. Maybe another client of mine is a sister, So identify who these people are in your life that you feel dragged down, that you feel you don't want to go into these deep conversations. You don't really want to let them in. You might not feel 100% when you speak to them. Who are these people? And I would just start writing out, what specifically that happens in that exchange are you not happy with? What specifically upsets you, bothers you? What specifically is messing with you? Now, this is just for you. You don't need to share this with anybody. It's a moment of honesty, of checking in, like, this really fucks with me with this person. For me, it used to be that my mother would talk shit and be grumpy about her life. And so I'm in a fucking great mood. I'm like, hey, good morning. I'm excited. Hey, my life is amazing. Go, hey, And then my mother calls me and she's like, hi, Erika, blah, 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 blah. And I'm just like, oh, my ears start to hurt. And then I start like dragging my body down and just feeling really heavy and feeling frustrated and short and depressed. And then I'm like, what the hell's going on? And then I'm like, I gotta go. And then I hang up and then I'm driving and then somebody cuts me off or my kid says something and I'm like snappy and then the whole day used to go to shit. It used to go to shit. And I never used to know what the fuck is wrong with me. Like, I'm a positive, happy person. Why am I so short and snappy and frustrated and pissed off and victim mode and all that? And I'm attracting more of it because how you act, you attract more of that shit. It's like keeps coming. Hello, my love. I need to interrupt this episode because I gotta tell you some exciting news. The Sisterhood program is open. The Sisterhood is a coaching experience where I, Erika Kramer, am coaching you for 12 plus months of your life. It is such an incredible community, and we are working on you standing in your power, healing your past, letting go of all the things that hold you down, that stop you from being who you want to be, how you want to be, getting what you want. It is the most intense experience where we get to coach live. I get to support you. We get to ship out beautiful things to your house. I love me some snail mail. And you get to connect and do the work with like-minded queens who are also unraveling, creating what they want. The sisterhood is only open for a limited time. So if you're listening to this, we are open now. We are only going to open a few times this year. Usually we did it about 6 times in the year. This year is different. We're actually being really intentional with how we open this program. Why? Because I want you to be ready. If you are ready to let go of the bullshit that holds you down, if you are ready to put yourself first, choose yourself, and get into the work, trust me, it is not easy to do this work. A lot of women avoid it. We're happy to listen to podcasts and read books, but to go into our stuff and journal and coach live and put your stuff out there and actually start changing your damn life, not everybody chooses it. So I know it's not for everybody, but if you've been loving this podcast, if you're like, yo, Erica, I have 50,000 questions to ask you, this podcast has changed your life in any way, shape, or form, imagine working with us inside of the sisterhood. I'll tell you a few cool things. We have live events. Even if you can't fly your ass to Australia, you can zoom into these events. It is live streamed for every single member. We record everything we do. There are programs within the sisterhood like conscious parenting, breath work, meditation, how to let go of anxiety, power couples. Hamish and I are doing power couples inside the sisterhood. Some of the most incredible people come in to teach our members. You will get access to all of that as soon as you join us. I cannot wait to work with you. And lastly, of course, if you want to live coach with me, we be doing that every single month. I am in there live. It is a live program, the most incredible women in the world. If you're ready to stop playing small, to put yourself first, to heal the shit that is holding you down so that you can truly and genuinely create confidence and get what you want in this life, it is a fucking limited time, this life. But you can have everything you desire, the money, the relationships, the joy, the happiness, and the fulfillment. All of that is waiting for you inside of the sisterhood. All you got to do is click the link in the show notes, set up a call. It'll be me or somebody on my team that will chat with you to see if you're a good fit. We cannot wait to welcome you. Okay, enjoy the rest of this episode. Oh, wait, one more thing. I have to say, nothing will change if you just listen to bullshit. You could listen and consume content. You could binge. But if you are not committed to actually applying the information, it's about the application of the information. That shit is how your life changes. Okay, back to it, y'all. So I realized, and this was, 2017, 2016, I realized that I would be feeling good and I would pick up the phone and my mother would just shit in my ear, basically, energetically. Just take a crap in my ear and I just like, oh, and I would just feel so heavy. And I would just like, damn, like I felt like I had a chip on my shoulder and I would just take it on. And I didn't realize until I was like, I'm upset. Why am I upset? And I'm driving. I remember I was driving down this tunnel. It was when I used to work for L'Oreal and used to drive all over Melbourne. I would just spend the whole time in my car. I got YouTube videos of me in my car just talking shit because that's all I did. I was just driving. And I remember being like, I don't know how I feel. How do I feel right now? I don't feel good. Why don't I feel good? What just happened? And I started to reverse my day. Started to go, well, I was driving and this, and then I picked it up the phone. And I spoke to my mother. That's it. It's like, shit. Thanks a lot, Mom. Now, I love my mother to death. Are you kidding me? Like, love her. She's my hero. I love her. I'm the only child. Me and her have a beautiful relationship. It's complicated, but it is beautiful. And I love my mother. However, who cares? My mental health, my well-being is important. And so I couldn't just be letting her shit in my ear, just energetically putting it all on me because there's two to tango. So one of the things that I want you to think about when you are complaining or upset or pissed off about toxic family members is, where is your responsibility at? What are you allowing? It takes two to tango. So if I don't like it, I could just not pick up. I could hang up. I could set dedicated times. I could have, for example, what I had to do was just decide I'm not picking up the phone because I feel really good and I don't want to hear anything that she has to say right now. And that sounds fucked up, right? But yo, I love myself. I need to look after me. I need to be good, right? I need to be good. If I'm not good, what happens for me? Then I can't do my work. Then I can't speak with my kids. Then I'm not fulfilled. I'm not on fire with my life. So what I had to figure out was like, how can I speak to her? When can I speak to her? When feels good for me to talk to my mother? What are the boundaries? What are the non-negotiables for me? And so I realized that when I wanted to talk, I would give her a call. I would also prepare myself energetically. Like, am I in a good mood? Am I in good spirits? Okay, my love, if you're enjoying this podcast, I want to invite you to check out the Sisterhood. What is the Sisterhood? It is my year-long coaching program where I will coach you live so that you can actually take everything you're learning on this podcast and put it into practice in your life so that you can actually get results in your life. You can be supported, you can be coached, you can stand up, show up, speak up, and create everything you desire in your life. If you want to overcome imposter syndrome, if you want to start creating more confidence, if you want to learn how to manage your thoughts so that you feel better and take better action so that you can get what you desire in your life, you need to join me inside of the Sisterhood. It is 12 months of live coaching, and you're surrounded by a community of incredible women who are also doing the work. So head to the link in the show notes or click on thequeenofconfidence.com, click on Sisterhood, and I will see you in there. Okay, back to the episode. Then it went into, when I speak to her, I'm going to tell her what I want to talk about. And if she starts with some shit, talking shit about someone or something really negative, hey, Ma, cool. All right. I heard you. Listen, tell me something else. What's happening good? What's happening good in your life? And I would try to redirect. Now, if she wouldn't take the redirect, then I would be like, I got to go. And I would end that call. And then it would just go to a point where I straight up had to say, yo, when you call me, this is what I want to talk about. I don't want to talk about this, this, and this. It doesn't make me feel good. It's not my business, and I don't care about what they're doing. So if you want to call me, I want to talk about fun stuff. I want to know how you're doing. I don't want to hear the same shit that you told me yesterday. If you already told me, call me in 2 days. So you have new stuff. We have new stuff to talk about. Because it got to a point where it's like 2-3 times a day. I'm like, what new are we going to talk about, Mom? You know what I mean? And I know I live far away, but like, geez, like, give me a break. So I had to set that boundary. And listen, it sounds mean, maybe me saying this shit out loud, but I was like, I'm a mother. I run a business. I have clients. I got a husband. I got my own life. I've got my own energy levels, and I have a lot of it. But if I don't get really good at figuring out where does my energy get leaked? Where does it get zapped? How much energy do I have for the night routine? Y'all know, parents, that night routine is no joke. And it's Groundhog Day every day. Same shit, different day with kids when they're young. So I had to really love myself enough to set a boundary. And she wasn't toxic. There could be toxic things that happen in that dynamic, in that relationship together. However, that's just something that goes down. So I had to separate myself from that. So that meant boundaries. That meant honest conversations, which if I'm honest, we suck. We suck at difficult conversations. I'm going to do a podcast with Hamish about I'm going to give you the how to, like a script on how to have difficult conversations, because I'm telling you, it's the number one problem for us when we do couples work, the number one problem that couples have. And humans, we just don't communicate. We don't say what we mean. We don't know how to talk about things. We don't know how to deal with confrontation. And so if there's somebody in your family, my invitation always, first of all, find out who it is. Second of all, find out what it is specifically that they're doing. Now, maybe there's a lot of things, but overall, is it the way they speak to you? You know, is it the conversations that you're having? Is it that they gossip? Is it that they take advantage? You feel they take advantage of you? Is it that they come unannounced? There's a lot of cultures where it's cool to just rock up to somebody's house and walk your ass in. And I'm like, yo, that's not okay. Like, I have kids. What if my son is half naked, or my husband is out the shower, or I've been walking around naked in my house all the time. You know, like sometimes kids would try to come in and I'm like, oh my God, hold on a minute, close the door. You know, like, I don't want to have to worry about that. So what are the things that the person is doing in your family that you don't agree with or you don't like, or it's a boundary for you? And then I would ask you, have you communicated clearly, concisely, and confidently what it is that you want to say to them? Hey, Mom, when you call me to talk about this person, I don't want to hear that because that's gossip and I don't like to do that. So I would prefer if you don't call me to talk to me about that ever. Okay? Now, I have told you, have you done that? Have you communicated to these people in your family? Sometimes it's not important. It's a cousin. It's an uncle. You're never going to see them. You would rather not talk to them, and it might make more of a problem. I get that. I'm not saying that. If it's a person that's in your life a lot and you haven't had a conversation with them, I highly recommend that you do that. Secondly, if it's somebody who's far away from you and you're not going to see them a lot, but when you're around them, you know, what could you discuss? You know, I recently did a coaching call and one of my clients was stressing she was going to see someone from the family and was like in total avoidance. And I'm like, hold on a minute. You don't have to bite into that dramatic family story. You don't have to bite. There's no fight if you're not in there, right? All you have to do is do the small talk. And I know small talk sucks. Another podcast coming about that. I know it sucks, but guess what? There are times when it is appropriate for you to keep your distance for you to put that hand out the front energetically and be like, nope, you ain't getting that close. Hey, how are you? Great. Good to see you. Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, things are good. Oh man, the weather's great. Oh, it's so good to see you. This is a beautiful dinner, isn't it? Great. Awesome. I'm just going to get some food. So good to see you. Take care. That's it. Little small shit. You know, whatever you got to, oh, man, oh, the kids are so big. Yeah. Wow. What a beautiful venue. Oh yeah, this is gorgeous. This food is amazing. Great to have everybody together. Whatevs. Yo, like short little sentences that you have to do because you got to be there without making a fuss. And it's going to cause more of a dramatic scene than if you're like, I don't want to be here when you're here. Then everybody gets involved in this drama triangle and it's a hot mess. So you could do small talk. If it's someone who's not that connected to you, you could energetically keep your distance by short, small talky kind of sentences and energetically moving your body away. So there's a trick. You probably won't be able to see me if you're listening to the podcast. There's a trick that one of my mentors used to do. Basically, you're facing someone and you're eye contacting and you're looking and you're talking. And when you're done saying what you're saying, you shift your body. You shift this way to the right or to the left and you cut the energy. You cut the eye gaze and you're just like, and you just move on. Thank you. Yeah. Awesome. Great to see you. And you just turn and you're off. You don't look back. You don't do the eyes where you're staying connected. You're trying to be like, oh, is there anything they want to say? No, you're like, said what I said. Thank you. Okay. See you soon. And then you cut and you're off. And it's an energetic cut, not like, you know, it's genuinely energetic cut. You know, when somebody's staring at you and you could feel them like burning and you look and somebody's looking at you, you could feel that. That's energy. They are sending you waves, right? They're looking at you and you're like, I feel like somebody's watching me. Then you turn and you're like, oh, they are watching me. That's the same shit. So what you're doing is you are cutting. You're like, I'm talking. Now I'm gone. And you almost go closed door and it's not harsh. It's just very like confident communication with the body language. And you finish and you cut. It's like you build a wall because you move away. There's no place to go back and forth and play fucking ping pong with you because you're not interested. You said what you said and you're done. And you could do it in a beautiful way. Oh my God. Yeah. Hey, it's so good to see you. I got to run, but thank you so much. Good to see you guys. And you're out. You weren't like, so fuck you, bitch. And then you do that. That's different, right? You could do that as well. But I'm sure it's going to cause problems in the fam bam. So little things that you could do and you could start to learn about who is it in your family is messing with you. What specifically are they doing? How are you feeling? Where in your body do you feel this? What are you feeling? What's the trigger? What is it reacting in you? Where's your responsibility in this? Is this something you've allowed for years? Is this something that you haven't spoken up? Therefore, they don't know. And I know we go, they should know. Yeah, but if you didn't say nothing, they don't know. And the reality is that we got to take responsibility for what we are saying or what we're not saying, what we're allowing. What's the quote? What you permit, persist. What you permit, persist. I don't know who says it. I'm sorry, but Google that shit. It's a quote. And it is true because if you allow it, you don't say anything to it, it will keep going. And therefore, it's on us now that we're not happy with that. It's on us to go, you know what? I need to speak up about this. I need to work on my communication. I need to set a boundary. I had a podcast with Fleecy. She's on the podcast. And she said that a boundary is not a preference. I love that. It was like, no, I prefer you don't do that. It's like, no, when you do that, I do this. If you do that, I'm going to hang up the phone. If you do that, you can't come back to my house. When you do this, that happens. There is a freaking consequence to your behavior and I will hold you accountable to that. Trust you me. That's it. There's no, I prefer, please don't do that. Oh, it's like, whatever. You don't even mean it. And so we're permitting it. We're allowing it and it's going to persist. So you don't have to have a chat with everybody. You don't have to cut off your whole family. You could decide who you need to have these deep conversations with, the people that are very important to you, that are close knit in your family. I would talk individually. I wouldn't be getting 4 family members, especially if you're more of a internal, what's the word called that Hamish is? Introvert. He's like introverted and I'm extroverted. No surprise there. But like if you're someone that's more quiet, reserved, introverted, if you would call yourself shy, let's say you're not savvy with the words, like, bitch, if you're not like that, right? Then I wouldn't go with 4 people because maybe you got 4 strong family members. I wouldn't be talking to them all together. That's going to be overwhelming and they might take over and then you just will feel like I wasn't heard, I wasn't listened to. And that's something I wouldn't recommend. Talk to these people one by one. If there's multiple people you need to speak to them one by one. If you can't speak to them yet because you're just not there, it's not safe, you're not ready, whatever reason, I don't know the reason, but if you have a reason, get a piece of paper and a pen and write them a letter. And do whatever you got to do on that piece of paper. You motherfucker. Or, you know what? I need to apologize. Or, hey, whatever you got to get on paper, if you can't speak to them, if they've passed away, this is such a great exercise. I give this to my clients in the sisterhood, writing a letter. I cannot tell you how impactful it is because you do have the conversation. It is a conversation you are having on paper and you get to get it out of you. And it is so healing. It is so amazing. So whether they are here or they're not, whether you're going to speak to them in the future or not, highly recommend getting a letter, getting it all out on paper. It's almost like a rough draft. It's almost like a rehearsal. You might say something on the paper that you won't say in real life, but you had to get that out. So please do that. So at the end of the day, we got to find out who it is. We got to find out what they're doing. We got to find out your part in this behavior. And then the invitation is there to set a boundary, have a conversation, move yourself away, do the things that you need to do to protect yourself, because you do not have to have your family up in your house. You do not have to be kind to the family members that are treating you like shit. You don't have to. There is no contract that says you have to. You know, they say like, what is it? Blood is thicker than water, all that shit about your blood. I don't really have many blood family members that I have been close to because of my upbringing and foster homes and everything that happened. And I have made my own family, incredible people that were strangers that I met that became family to me. They are my family, not by blood, by choice. And many times we are allowed to do that. So if this is resonating with you and this is something that you want to look at, please go ahead and do those things that I just mentioned, because I can tell you right now that you can remove yourself from toxic situations. You don't have to be in these places because they're your blood or they're your family, or you feel you need it, or because of cultural responsibilities. You get to choose, my love. At the end of the day, you got to be happy. You got to be fulfilled. The most important person here is you. Okay? Let me know how you go with this episode. Let me know how you go with the exercise. Hit me up on Instagram, tag me, comment in YouTube, wherever you listen. Thank you so much for being here. I will see you next week. I'm off to the beach. Peace. Thank you so much for listening. I freaking love you. I appreciate you. Thank you for your ears and your energy and your attention. Thank you for letting me into your world. And thank you so much for listening and tuning in to this podcast. There are so many podcasts you can listen to, and I deeply, deeply, for real, appreciate you listening to mine. Do me one big favor, one big thing. Please share this episode or this podcast with a woman who you know needs to hear this. This is my mission on planet Earth, to serve as many women as possible so that we could show up, stand up, speak up, and create the confidence and the life that we desire. I appreciate you, my love. I will see you on the next episode.